back to I Did This Instead of Killing Myself, stand-up comedy and lifestyle podcast featuring comedians in the South Carolina/Carolina area. My name's David Bakker. It is the week of June 21st, so I hope you all had a happy Father's Day. My guest today is a father, Jeff Thompson. Jeff is one of my good buddies in the local Greenville stand-up scene, hailing from Washington, D.C., and Jeff and I had a great conversation. He's been doing stand-up for about 2 years. He is a former felon, although he has a clean record now. So he told us the story of how that played out, doing mushrooms in a national forest. We also talked about his background in comedy. We talked about cancel culture. We talked about religion. We talked about his battle with prescription drugs, which was very interesting. And I just had a great conversation, so really hope you enjoy the interview. Before we get to that, this week in local comedy, the week of June 21st, 2021, we have the regular slate of open mics beginning tonight at Coffee Underground, 7 o'clock. No Expectations Comedy, Tom Evans, Craig Holcomb. You know the drill, 7 o'clock. Get there early, no admission. After that, Habib's Mediterranean Restaurant, hosted by Dante Anderson, 8 o'clock. That's also free admission. Comics, you can hit both. Tuesday, I'm watching the weather right now. There is rain in the forecast, so we may not have my mic. It's kind of a tentative right now, so just that private mic that's here in this building, just look for my story if it's on or not. There is another mic on Tuesdays now in Anderson. Now that's at Doolittle's in Anderson at 7 o'clock. Last week was the first one, hosted by Jazz. I'm not sure if she's going to be there, but Jazz is amazing. And that is a fun mic as well. So we do have a Tuesday mic in Anderson, South Carolina now, so if you're interested in that. Wednesday, Radio Room, 8 o'clock, hosted by Adam Schulte. This week is going to be a special show. It's going to be kind of an inaugural show where comics that started during the pandemic are going to do extended time. I think I'm going to be doing some extended time there. So that should be a fun time. Not a traditional open mic, but it'll be same time and no admission. Thursday night, Comedy Zone, there is the semifinals of the competition. That is going to be at 8 o'clock, $10 admission. So that'll be a fun time. And I'm actually going to be in Charleston on Thursday night with a few of us. There's the Elliott Borough Mini Bar Showcase in Charleston. Hope I got that name right. But that's going to be, I believe, at around 7 o'clock. We're driving down to Charleston. So if you're in Charleston and you're listening to this, check that out. And tickets and info I'll put up here on the screen. And then Friday night, the Liberty Joke Show at the Pickens County Performing Arts Center. That's still happening. Again, a clean comedy show Friday night. So check that out if you're in town. And then Saturday, there's going to show at The Flat. This is hosted by Stone Grown Comedy, Adam Schulte. And the headliner is from Atlanta, Duke Desdunes. I believe that's his name. And I'm actually going to be opening at that show. So if you want to see me, or probably more likely you're going to want to see the headliner. But that's a show at the Flats on Saturday. And I believe that's either 7 or 8 o'clock start. Again, it'll be on the screen. But yeah, that's Saturday. So that's it for this week in local comedy. Hope you enjoy the interview. Here it is. Welcome back. Another interview. I did this instead of killing myself. I've been waiting a long time for this one. Jeff Thompson, welcome to the show.
That's my camera up here.
Yeah. Are you going to ham it up this whole time?
Huh?
Like you're talking to your audience?
Yeah,
you can if you
I will
want.
talk to my audience. Or I mean, I can talk to you, man. Let's talk to both of you.
Oh, gosh. Jeff Thompson. So I was trying to think of how I could introduce you. You are a father.
Yes.
You are a former D.C. resident.
Mm-hmm. Former Colorado resident.
Colorado.
Former Greenville resident. Current Spartanburg resident.
Okay.
The Murderburg.
The Murderburg,
The
yes.
Murderburg.
How long have you been back in Greenville? Because I met you last fall-ish, I think.
6 months
6 months.
ish.
Okay. And you came directly back from D.C.,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. I came back from D.C. right before the election.
Okay.
I was not going to be in D.C. for the election.
Right.
Doesn't matter who wins.
Mhm.
I just wasn't going to be there because if Trump won, people were going to go crazy. If Biden won, people were going to go crazy. I wasn't going to be around it.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
I mean, about 2 months later, people were storming the Capitol and doing real crazy stuff.
Yep.
But, yeah, man, Jeff is a good friend of mine. I think since you've been back, you've been at basically all of the same mics that I've been at, between Habiba's, Radio Room, and Comedy Zone. And I'm trying to think of how long had you been doing comedy like before us? You've been doing it for a few years, right?
No, I was doing it for about a year, like 8 months to a year right before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started getting comfortable and then they were like, yep, no more mics. Like, COVID struck.
I gotcha.
So,
So in total, you're about what, pushing 2 years?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years total. Because I went like 8-9 months without it,
Yep.
No writing, no comedy, no nothing. I didn't know if it was coming back, so I figured why write, you know what I mean?
Right. Good
It's
deal.
good coffee, by the way.
Yeah. We are at my place. Jeff is enjoying some black coffee. My kitchen is so bare bones, dude. I don't have much to offer. I got black coffee.
I know I was here last week.
Yeah, I know. Jeff was giving me crap because they came over last week, and I haven't taken the garbage out since. The beer can that he was drinking of, he knew it's still in the garbage.
That's all good, man.
Yeah, I'm not very good at domestic things, so it's
Yeah,
whatever.
no, you're good, man. You don't have kids or
No responsibilities.
yeah,
That's
fuck
why I
it.
can do
Why
a freaking
not?
podcast.
and you're still. I mean, you're doing. You may not take your trash out, but you're doing much better than I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
We're in downtown Greenville right now, folks. Like on a high rise. Like I'm looking.
It's not a high rise.
All right. Well, it's a higher rise than.
It's
There were 6 stories. If I were to jump out, I would die from the fall.
well, yeah.
But if I wasn't doing this, I would be doing that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, fitting name for the podcast. You did instead of killing yourself. But yeah, man, it's good to have you on. I don't know your background in comedy, so I wanted to hear I don't think I've ever heard your first time on stage or what pushed you to do it the first time.
Oh, God. I've always wanted to do comedy. Always. I didn't know. I thought you had to be in L.A. or I thought being a comedian was like being a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you just can't do that. You know what I mean? I found out in about 2018. 2019 or something. Somebody was like, oh yeah, we have comedy in Greenville, and I was like, what the fuck? And then sure enough, I signed up the next week and I killed my first time.
Where'd
killed
you go on stage the first
the
time?
Comedy Zone.
Oh.
And I killed the second, third, and fourth time. I bombed completely bombed.
Back up the first time. What did you talk about?
Oh God, I don't even remember. I mean, I went up. I had 10 jokes written down that were just silly ass little jokes, which I may still have that notebook, so I can look around for another podcast. But I mean, they were just silly, stupid ass jokes, and I got up there and I just sat down on the stool, and I put the notebook in my lap, and I just sat there like this and just read them off one by one. I was like, guess what? I think it's funny. All right, guess what else I think is funny? And I just read them right off, and then I started writing them on my arm and shit.
Okay.
So I might even still have Instagram pictures of the set lists.
That's kind of creepy, right? On your wrist.
Well, I mean, I used to just walk over there. Well, I mean, it's either that or razor blades.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is we're dealing with a cutter here. Are you okay, Jeff?
Well, I wrote them this way and not this way.
You wrote them this way?
I'm writing jokes. No, I'm writing jokes this way.
Oh yeah.
Because like, isn't this the right
This
way?
is really morbid. But if you really want to kill yourself,
Yeah, it's this way, right? Yeah.
I hate that I know
gotta really
that.
open it up.
I hate that I know that.
I know that too, man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So why do you think you killed the first time? Do you think it was? Were you nervous when you went up?
I'm sure I was.
I think the audience just was on your side because you were just.
Yeah, they did announce that it was my first time, so I think it did put an energy in the room that was like, that was very accepting, no matter what I said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the second time, it was death. I mean, it was just like, it was so fucking quiet. Like, and I told the exact same jokes. Right. So I was like, oh, I'm on top of the world the first time. And the second time was like, yeah, I think I'm going to step in traffic. You know, like, it was horrible.
Adam Schulte had a similar story about how he killed his first time. He told some really authentic, true stories.
I love Adam.
He was in. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
we had a good.
He's so much fun.
We beat the record on our podcast length. I think ours was like an hour and 40 minutes. It was a good conversation.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's got the gift of gab. Mm-hmm. He's got a very, like, he draws attention. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean like in a negative way. Like, he just tells really good stories. And like, he knows how to keep you interested.
Yeah. He's a very thoughtful guy. I mean, we got into everything. We talked politics. We talked philosophy.
Did he talk politics?
Oh yeah. And we don't
talk
agree.
Politics Monday too.
Yeah. He talked a little cancel culture. Talked a little woke. Yeah.
Oh man.
So it's good. But okay. So but yeah. Anyway, he said, like, his first time on stage, like, he told a story about how his dad gave him like a box cutter because he had a Hispanic girlfriend and he wanted to like. I was like, what? I was like, anyway, but these are really true to life stories, and it was just flowing out of him. And then when he tried to do it the second time, exact same set, it didn't work because I think it seemed manufactured, and he was like, oh well, I can just curate this, but it seemed fake to the audience. So
I that's exactly right. That's exactly what happened. There wasn't the energy in the room of like the first time, you know, like, I get that totally.
So why'd you want to do it? I know you have like your background. You have a little background with the law.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I've got a little background with just about anything, man. But you mean, why did I want to do comedy?
Yeah.
I mean,
push you into it
because I've always had a fucked up family and like not normal. You know, I know everyone says that, but I'll talk about that more. Like, I don't know, on another, when I start a podcast, I don't know. No, but like, humor's always helped me like navigate weirder parts of life. Does that make any sense? Like,
what can you share about your family background? I'm curious.
Well, I mean,
you don't have to get super detailed, but I'm just curious, like, about generally what the.
I mean, since this is going out on the internet, I don't know what not everyone's dead yet. You know what I mean?
No, you're good, man, if you don't want
So, I don't know, man. Like, basically, me and my sister kind of raised ourselves.
Okay.
So, you know, alcohol was involved,
sure.
Workaholic, alcoholic, you know, kind of shit.
So you and your sister pretty close?
Yeah, major close.
Gotcha. So y'all had to grow up quick and kind of not have.
Well, she grew up quicker than I did because she was 8 years older.
Okay.
And so I was born, and then, you know, she's basically like, look, bro, I know you're new to this world, but this is how it is. We got to get through this shit together, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we've been super close. We're still super close to this day.
Okay. Does she live here in town?
No, but I live like 5 feet from her house.
Oh, in Spartanburg?
Yeah. So I'm like super fucking close. Like, that's half the reason my living situation is what it is, because my dad died, her son died, and now it's like, we're super close.
That's great. So has she ever come out to watch you do stand-up?
Yes. She was with me the night I won the competition last year. Like when well, I don't know.
Was I there at that point, or was it?
No. This is when the joke show was a thing.
Okay.
Like, so the Thursday night open mic was was the joke show and not Jokes Out Loud.
Okay.
That's I mean, I don't know what,
This is before it transitioned into the new
right,
version.
correct.
Yeah, sure.
And she was out there then.
Okay.
With a couple of family members. That's the only time families ever come out, though. Like, it's the only time I've really invited them.
Yeah, I got you.
So,
I got you. I'm kind of selective as to when I really push for people to come out. I don't invite people probably as often as I should.
Well, my family always wants to come out, like my aunts and uncles, and my dad always wanted to come out, which he died, and I'm kind of a little like, I'm like, well, I kind of wish he would have seen it. You know what I mean?
Your dad?
Huh?
Your dad?
Yeah. But I mean, he's not much of a comedy person.
Sure.
So it's not like he's like a super fan. He just wanted to see me on stage. You know what I mean?
It was really interesting. You met my dad when he came out and performed.
Yeah, I like your dad.
Yeah, I'm glad you like my dad. I was so nervous for him to come.
Oh, I know, but I mean, God, I called God an asshole that night, and your dad's like super Christian. I mean,
the
joke I told that night was like, I was like, we were at Easter Sunday, was it? Wasn't Easter Sunday like
it was
recently?
Close. It was around the same time.
Right. Because I was like, I basically said we went to church. It was Easter Sunday. We went to church Easter Sunday to like appease my mom, and they kept saying, God is great, God is good, and I was like, God's an asshole. I was like, he took away. I was like, my nephew, he just killed my nephew, and I was like, no one deserves to die when puberty is their midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And
dude,
I saw your dad, and your dad was like, oh, I'm a super Christian. I was like, oh,
well,
shit.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I'm a Christian. We come from a Christian family and stuff. But, like, I don't see anything wrong with what you said at all, especially when it comes to, like...
Well, you're not the one judging me, dude.
No, I know. Well, I even think in the context of, like, a true Christian worldview,
yeah,
like, there's plenty of times in the Bible where people in the Bible cry out at God because they're like, dude, this is bullshit. Seriously. Like,
well, it is
I don't know if
of
you read the book
bullshit.
of Job and stuff, like... It's
I
not
love the
all
story of
sunshine.
Job, though. I really do. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, what's going on?
Yeah, bro.
Bruh. Dude.
I love the story. Now, I'm not going to...
goes wrong, and we don't have to go down a religious path.
No, I'm not going to speak on what I believe, but I have read the Bible.
Yeah.
And I do love the story of Job. Like, that's a really good story.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Bible's full. Like, the heroes are kind of anti-heroes. There's a lot of dudes that made mistakes that... had a lot of bad stuff happen to him. There's a lot of stories of like you go down and then you get redeemed. Like that's kind of an arc that happens.
Yeah,
a lot. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows. So as much as some people in modern day Christianity,
but it never is sunshine and rainbows.
Right, it's not. People can be judgmental though, and it makes people think Christians are all like, dude, I don't know. I think the real Christians are okay with hearing some of that.
It's just like anybody else, man. Okay, they're asshole Christians. They're asshole atheists.
Yeah.
They're asshole.
Yeah.
They're fucking asshole Buddhists and yogis and shit that are just like.
It's a complicated.
If you say namaste to me, I mean, I love Kelby. He's not one of them. Just to be clear,
Yeah.
Kelby, I'm not talking about you.
Yogi.
I mean, but like. Oh, God, just people in normal conversations will just be like, namaste. Or an atheist that'll try to swing your vote. Like, I get
they're
why.
trying to evangelize you to be an atheist.
Right. Right. Now, I get why a Christian does it because they won't, they're like, come to heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But an atheist is like, yeah, I just kind of want to drag your ass down
Come
with
on.
me. You know, like,
Think there's nothing with me. There's no significance.
There's nothing significant. The world is cold. Go fuck yourself. Come with me.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in something.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more agnostic than anything. Like, I believe in what I see and what has been proven to me. And I can't say that there's not. Yeah. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, of course.
Like, like I said, I don't want to get into the religion thing because my religion changes.
I just had like an impulse to ask the question.
My religion changes daily, though. Like tomorrow, I might be like, "Yeah, fuck that," and then today I'll be like, "Oh yeah, there's probably something." You know what I mean? Like it just changes daily. So I don't really want to. I don't know. I don't want to.
We don't have to. I don't care where we
get into it. You know what I mean?
I just thought it was interesting to ask Jeff Thompson.
Yeah, it's a much longer conversation. It's a lifelong conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're honest, I think it is because I think there's a point where you need to like come to grips with what you believed as a child, reconcile that with your life experience and
Well, I mean, I was forced into it as a child, and then
Were
I
you
saw
raised-
I saw people being pieces of shit and being like, "This is the way, the light," and that kind of taints your view because I wasn't
Correct.
a stupid kid. You know what I mean? Like, I was
Yeah.
a really smart kid, believe it or not,
So you see people who are teaching their religion
and just being a
behaving
complete
bad.
piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
To me, that's the worst sort of.
I agree. That's better than that's worse than I don't know.
Just a blatantly non-religious bad person.
Yeah.
I think a hypocrite's worse.
Right. Much
Yeah.
worse. Much worse.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
But anyway. Well, good deal, man. So comedy. So with you being close to your sister, having up like, comedy was a way to kind of cope with that, and as you were growing up, like how young were you when you started to really like comedy and like start listening to stand up and stuff?
Oh God, I was listening. Okay, so Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Disclaimer.
Dude, we know. Bill Cosby's a legend, man.
Bill Cosby was my favorite. Like, he was my first comedian ever.
Yeah.
And in fact, you wanted a joke. Like, one of my old jokes was, I used to listen to Bill Cosby when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I used to listen to him all the time. Even when I used to fall asleep, I would
Right.
listen to his voice. # me too. You know what I mean? Which is actually true. I really did listen to him like going to bed. And he was my only clean comedian
Right.
ever. So he was my first. And I listened to, I had the, I can't remember the album, but he's holding like a volleyball or a soccer ball. And I've still got the album actually. We found it at my dad's house. We were cleaning it out. But I used to listen to that album all the time. And I loved comedy right away. I was probably 5 years old.
You were 5 years old when you were listening to those?
Oh God. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and then I caught, George Carlin and, Richard Pryor on HBO. I couldn't tell you which one came first, but I remember seeing them both on HBO. I believe it was HBO. A buddy of mine down the street had cable. And I was just like, oh, this is the best shit in the world. There's tits on TV.
Yeah.
This guy says fuck all the time. I was just like, this is the greatest shit in the
George
world.
Carlin or Pryor or both?
Both of them.
Both, yeah.
I cannot tell you which one was first, but I did watch them both on their TV, and I didn't know anything like that existed.
Right.
I knew Bill Cosby was a thing. But he was super clean.
Right.
But then when I heard George Carlin and Richard Pryor, I lost my shit. I was like, this is my favorite thing of all time.
Right.
Like this is what I want to do when I grow up, like all kind of shit. And then, I mean, we can go down comedy lane if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So after those, like for a while, I didn't really hear many other comedians or anything. But I stuck with, like I listened to them throughout my life. But when I was a teenager, I got high with my sister for the first time. And they were like, have you ever seen Tenacious D?
Yeah.
And I was like, no. This is the HBO.
That's not Jack Black in that band?
Yes. No. But this is before they ever got a start. This is when it used to just come on randomly, like on HBO. It would come on like at 1:00 in the morning on a Wednesday.
Before it was big or anything?
Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it would just be like 9 a.m. on a Saturday. It would just be on HBO. And it's just like, what the fuck? You just had to catch it randomly. So they had my brother-in-law had a VHS that anytime he would catch it on TV, he would record it. So he had about 5 episodes, right? Are we getting close to time?
No, we're not at all.
Okay,
not
excellent.
at all.
And I got high with them for the very first time ever. And I mean, I was a teenager. I mean, like young as shit. And no, just a disclaimer, it was my weed, you know what I mean? Like I was the bad influence on that one.
Okay.
But we got high and they were like, have you ever seen Tenacious D? And I was like, no, I've never seen Tenacious D. And they were like, well, you got to see this. They popped in the tape. bam, I was right back on the comedy. I mean, I had never seen any. I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I already play guitar, so I was just. Have you ever?
I
seen
didn't know you played guitar. Dude.
Yeah. Have you
I've
ever
never
seen the old episodes? Oh my God, bro.
Of Tenacious D? You're talking
Yes.
about? No, I have not.
So they used to go on these like zany adventures. I'm not gonna get into it too much, but they used to go on these zany adventures, and then they would go to an open mic and sing about the zany adventure. Right?
So I've seen some of Jack Black's stuff.
You
where
have
he's
to watch
doing-
them. That's all I'm gonna say. And then also Mr. Show with Bob and David.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of it. Yeah,
Okay.
but I haven't
Okay.
watched it.
The same thing. They used to come on, like just randomly, right? Like, and I remember catching one episode of that, and I was just like, I'm in fucking love. I want to do sketch comedy. I want to do comedy. I want to do sketch comedy. I want to do all this shit. Like, like this is my lane. This is where I want to be. But like I said, I thought you had to be in LA. So I was just like, I'll never make it.
What year
there.
was this that this was all?
Oh God, this was 1994.
Okay.
1996 ish.
Okay.
Around 1996.
Yeah. I mean, around that point, there were a lot more barriers to like doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, like it was, you had to be on a network TV show. I mean, sitcoms were the big thing in the 90s. Like if you were a comic, you had to be in New York or LA.
Yeah.
Be the one they picked for a pilot. Everybody wanted to get with Jerry
Make it to like the
Goddard.
Tonight Show.
Yeah. There was also Johnny Carson.
Yep. Where you do like 5 minutes
you do
on the
5
Tonight
minutes
Show.
on Carson.
I mean, could you imagine doing 5 minutes for the nation?
No.
I mean, that
No.
would be fucking phenomenal.
In a way, it's frustrating to not have like so many barriers, but once you got that shot, to have so many eyeballs on you and to just be made after that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Versus now, I mean, now you don't have any barriers, but
Right.
garnering an audience with so much noise is like next to impossible.
Yeah,
But,
well, you're screaming at a concert. You know what I mean? That's basically what it's like. Listen
Yeah.
to me.
Right.
And I mean, you
yeah.
just got so many distractions, you know?
Mhm. I mean, the good thing is now I feel like it's fun for its own sake, and I truly, I enjoy it for just what
Well, it
it
either
is,
goes
so.
somewhere or doesn't.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
who
I mean?
cares if it doesn't? So, but yeah, man. So that period was pretty cool. Did you ever go back and watch some of those special or those 5-minute Carson stand-ups? Like,
I had sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
especially with YouTube, man.
yeah, YouTube. You can catch all these.
You can just look them up. You can just hit it Carson and.
Have you ever
pick
seen
up
Drew
the-
Carey's Type
Mm-mm.
5?
Nah.
So good, really clean. Louis Anderson had one of the best Type 5s I've ever seen on Johnny Carson.
Louis Anderson? Really?
Mhm.
I'll
Yeah.
check that out.
Yeah, he. I mean, he had a laugh with every sentence. I mean, that's not even that crazy, but it was just a super tight set. And
Well, Bill
and
Hicks
very
was
clean
my
as well.
game changer.
okay, Bill Hicks is a political comic, isn't he?
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he kind of got political. Yeah, but the way he talked about like expanding his mind and things like that, like okay, for the time that I heard it and the things I was going through and things like that, I mean, it just
Gotcha.
I was like, okay, wow, this is my favorite shit of all time.
Yeah.
You know, so it just kind of periodically popped up through life.
Yeah.
Started with Bill Cosby, ended with Bill Hicks, or didn't end with Bill Hicks, but I mean, Bill Hicks made me dig deeper into like the comedy, like all
Made you think?
all comedy.
Yeah. I gotcha. Who do you like now? Do you still go back
God.
and listen to the old
Oh,
classics,
yeah.
or do
I
you
listen to-
prefer anybody new that's really caught your eye since?
I prefer I like classics. The most recent classic that like classic, I would say, I like Dave Attell a lot.
Okay.
Skanks for the Memories
Yeah.
was like another like attuned to comedy. Like when I heard that one, I was just like, oh my God, I want to do this again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
You kind of look like David Till.
that's
Did you make a joke about
thanks,
that?
I guess. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. That's a compliment.
yeah, I guess. I
No,
mean,
David Tell's a cool guy, man.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I would take being cool as David Tell. I don't know about looking like him. I can't really remember exactly what he looks like, but I know he ain't the most handsome motherfucker.
You're a handsome guy, Jeff.
Disclaimer, David Tell, if you ever hear this, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh man. So I asked the comics this on all the episodes. What is your biggest like dumpster fire story that you're willing to share? Like a story where everything kind of went wrong.
Okay. So I've been working on a joke about this one, really. I've got jokes around it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, it's not really funny. I mean, at the same time, it is funny. Like, okay, so in the same 24-hour period, I, like, told the first girl that I loved her. We were, like, packing up to go camping out of state. Like, just the two of us. You know, like, everything was a first time. Like, I'd never been out of state by myself. I'd never been camping by myself.
How old were you at this point?
I was 18.
Okay.
I couldn't have been 19. So, yeah, I was about 18. Probably just 18. Like, right outside of 17, 18. And I just told her that I loved her. Like, the same 24-hour
Did she say it back?
Oh, yeah. No, she did. Yeah. No, it was like a first love. It was like, it was real tight. So we were going on our camping trip, and I bought a sack of mushrooms, a big sack of mushrooms. Like, I bought them from this guy who had this garbage bag, like in an apartment like this size. Like, he just had this huge garbage bag. And, like, he grabbed, like, a baggie, and he just dipped in and just grabbed all these mushrooms. I mean, I paid a lot for them, but, I mean, he gave us this huge bag. I bought, like, half an ounce.
Okay.
I don't know if you know anything about mushrooms.
I don't.
That's a lot of mushrooms.
I don't really have a good reference, but, yeah, go ahead.
Less than an eighth of an ounce is enough to, like, take you out, right? And so it was our first time eating mushrooms. Technically the second. We'd eaten, like, stems one time, and just to see what happened, you know what I mean? But this is our first, like, flight, you know?
Okay.
And so we're eating a bunch of mushrooms. We get to the state park. We're eating a bunch of mushrooms, and there are people setting up on both sides of us. So we were like, well, we want to smoke a joint, right? The mushrooms started to kick in. And it's like, we want to smoke a joint, but we can't smoke a joint around these folks.
Because there's campsites right.
Right. They've got kids and
quarters.
Shit. Right. Gotcha. So we're like, okay, so we set up our tent, we got everything ready, we're tripping. So it took a while to set up the tent, you know, and then yeah, we're like, oh, look at this bendy stick, it's fucking amazing.
I hate setting up tents. Setting up a tent's like sober is hard.
No, bro, and we're tripping, like, so everything looks like weird, and like the tent looks like it's breathing and shit. Anyway, we get it set up, and like we've both eaten almost a quarter ounce of mushrooms a piece, which is a fucking lot. And we have a little bit left, and we're like, well, let's save like a cap, and like we had like a cap and a stem or something left, a piece, right? So it was like,
I'm not really following the amounts, but go ahead.
Oh, either way,
I kind of am. But
all right, so we've eaten a lot of mushrooms.
Got it.
We're like, we want to smoke a joint, so we can't do it right here. Let's drive up the road. So we drive up the road. You know, we're lost. We end up smoking like 3 joints, and like fogging out the car, smoking like, and we're just driving around, and we're like, okay, it's like, all right, I'm tripping balls, I'm high as hell. Let's go back to our campsite, chill for the night, like start a fire. Okay, we're pulling back in the park, and then I'm like, oh my God, look at all those beautiful blue lights. They're so pretty. And we pull around the corner, and it's just a mass of cops. Like what had happened was people our age were throwing a party in an illegal part of the park, right?
Okay.
So they're looking for people our age, right? And automatically we're suspects. And then as soon as we pull over, I had to roll my window down and just smoke. Just goes right.
Oh my God!
I'm sure he had like a contact high. I mean, it just
gosh.
Goes bellowing out.
Dude, so as high as you all were, you were not being disruptive.
No.
So they were.
I paid for my site. We set up our tent. Everything was legal.
So you were off your ass, but like. They were looking for this other party.
They were looking for
you just
people
happened
our
to fit
age.
the profile.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And then bam, that's it. Like,
yeah, that sucks.
Felony. Class A, Schedule 1.
Because of how much you had with you?
No, it doesn't matter. Like
Because it's a
mushrooms
mushroom?
on the federal, like since we're on federal land owned by the government, to the government, mushrooms are right next to crack, heroin, acid. It's all in the. I might as well have had crack or heroin on me or acid. I mean, because they were like rummaging through my pockets, and he was like, "Oh, well, we found weed, we found this," and then all of a sudden he goes, "What's this?" And I was just like, I mean, to me it sounds like, "What's this? What's this? What's this?" You know, because I'm tripping balls.
Oh,
and
exactly.
yeah, I mean, I'm tripping, man. I'm just like, I mean, you got to remember, I am high as fuck. I mean, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Like all the lights are still fucking with me. The whole severity of the situation never settled in yet. You know what I mean? And so yeah, so I'm fucked up. We're both fucked up, and he's like, "What is this?" And he was like, "Is that what I think it is?" And I look over, and I'm like, "Oh my god, just one mushroom." Like it was like I had one mushroom, she had one mushroom left, and that's what they got me with. Like, I mean, we had this huge bag of.
Wait, so you had eaten almost all of them?
Oh yeah. We had saved one more for like a re-up, you know, like when we started to come down a little bit, like let's eat a little bit more.
Super Troopers, you ever seen Super Troopers?
Oh
When they get
god,
pulled over
yeah,
and
but
he
this
tries
is
to eat
much
them all?
worse because I actually went to goddamn jail. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, so you know, I mean, so yeah, I ended up in jail that night, like tripping the rest of my balls off, like in jail, and they were really nice to me though, like in jail. But yeah, that was rough, man. So that's a total fuck up, man. Like I fucked up, like, and the worst part about it was seeing my like little tiny skinny girlfriend being like dragged off like down this hallway in like ankle shackles. And
Did you guys break up after that?
I mean, eventually, yeah, but
Eventually.
that's
That
not
wasn't
what broke
why.
us up.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we were just like, we're like Bonnie and Clyde. You know
She's
what I
like,
mean?
I love you.
Yeah. We're like, I mean, but that was the hardest part was watching. I mean, bro, I was a black belt. Like I just got my black belt like less than 4 years
Karate?
before. Yeah. So I mean, Tang Soo Do to be exact. So I wasn't scared.
Dude,
Like-
you have a joke about being Bruce Lee and
Yeah.
past life.
yeah.
I didn't know that's based a little bit in the reality of you having a karate background.
Yeah, I've got experience. I mean, now I couldn't do shit. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I could probably handle myself, but I mean, I can't like kick boards and shit. I can't do
Okay.
like amazing things but when at the time, I was not scared like at all. Like I was just not scared. I was just like,
Yeah.
I was more worried about like fines and jail time and things like
Yeah.
you know, most people are like nervous, like I'm gonna
Right.
get beat up in jail. I was not scared at all. Like I was
Yeah.
just like, I can handle myself. I'll be fine.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, you did a lot of, you're growing up younger and, you know,
Yeah, well.
The martial arts. Or is that a martial art?
What's that?
The karate, is that considered a martial art? I'm so
Oh
stupid
yeah,
with
yeah,
this crap.
yeah. It's a fighting style.
Yeah.
Exactly what it is.
It's interesting.
mean-
A lot of stand-up comics are into that. Yeah, don't worry about that. That's the dehumidifier.
It's just a smoke alarm. I mean,
I don't think so. It should stop.
it's just it's the CO2 alarm.
The beeping. Yeah.
We just end up on the podcast like
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not mature.
we did this and killed ourselves.
I'm not mature enough to change the batteries on my CO2 detector, or carbon monoxide, whatever it is. Yeah.
That's it. Carbon dioxide. No. Carbon monoxide. You're
Yeah,
right.
that's this odorless killer, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah. So that was a crazy experience.
But isn't there celebration in order? Because I feel like you recently saying that you got these charges
And it got expunged.
Everything's expunged.
Yeah, I expunged
So
it.
you are
I no
clean
longer
record?
have a criminal
you
record.
can no longer say you're a felon on stage. Not that you ever were a felon. I think you hammed it up as felon, right?
No, I was a felon.
Felon. That was the
Yeah.
actual.
Yeah. It's just that I had a non-violent. So there wasn't. Had I had a gun, I'd have served 10 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like
Yeah.
if I'd have had a knife, I'd have served 10 years in
Yeah.
prison.
Well, dude, it's stories like yours that make me feel like they need to be brought up when it comes to reforming laws about drugs in this country. Because like a non-violent drug offense with psychedelic mushrooms. I mean, I know mushrooms are.
The only problem should have been that I was driving.
Yeah.
That should have been like looking at it as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
and now the only problem was that I was operating a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
That was
because you're putting
dangerous.
others at risk. And
I probably should have gone to jail not for eating mushrooms, and it shouldn't have been a felony.
Mm-hmm.
But I should have gone to jail, or at least paid a huge fine for driving under the influence.
Yeah.
Like that, I agree with. Like that, where it's like, well, okay, I get it. You know, you take me to jail for whatever, because I was under the influence.
Yeah.
That I understand.
But I kind of wonder if psychedelic, things like that will be like marijuana in a few years. I've seen articles about that where that may be decriminalized in the future.
They've decriminalized it in places.
Have they?
Yeah.
Colorado?
Yep. They decriminalized
typical
it in
states
Colorado and Washington, I think. Washington or Oregon, something like that. One of those.
Man.
One of
It's
those
sad. People
things.
getting locked up and freaking have horrible stories like that
Yeah,
because of the stigma around it.
But I mean, it is what it is. But it definitely made me more careful.
Yeah.
And aware
Made for a
of the
great
law.
joke. I love that joke when you tell that on stage. But
So yeah, but that's all true, man.
okay.
But like I said, I did get it expunged, so I don't have a criminal record, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I still don't vote, and I still don't,
Yeah,
I don't do anything I could have done without my record. You know what I mean?
No, that's hilarious because you had said previously, when we were political year last year, so you're like, oh yeah, who you're voting for? I don't vote for anybody because I'm a felon.
I don't give a shit. Yeah.
But now you
why do
can
I care?
vote, and it's still.
And I
dude,
still don't give a shit.
Isn't the political scene nauseating? I don't feel like voting for either side.
I will vote when somebody is worth my vote.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense? I look at all of them because I listen to news from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so odd to me, especially now, because both sides. It's fucked up that there are only two sides, right? I mean, to me, one side will be like, it's kind of like Joe Pesci from My Cousin Vinny. It's like, yeah, that guy, everything he just said is bullshit, And then the other side will be like, yeah, everything that guy just said, it's bullshit, And it's like, wait, like one side will be like mask or mandatory, and the other side will be like, you don't need a mask, and it's like, oh my God, could we please?
There's no room for nuance. You pick a side, you dig your heels in, and
right,
it's
and
really
that's
hard.
it, right. But I believe some things I have a lot of liberal beliefs. And I have a lot of conservative beliefs. I mean, I'm right in the middle, so it's just nuts. So I refuse to choose a side or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I lean right for sure, but it's muddy, and there's plenty that happens. Even being on one side, when it gets to political season, and it's just this 24-hour news cycle of who's gotten caught saying what, or
oh God,
all the
oh God,
all the talking points.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The whole thing just is exhausting to me. That's why I think comedy's more fun. It's playful.
But I mean,
it's supposed to be.
Right. Okay. I think comedy should be hallowed ground. I think that you should be able to say anything and not 10 years ago, if you said something, you can lose your job today, right? Not like that. I'm talking about if we want to get up on stage and say some outlandish shit, no matter what that shit be, the outcome, we should not be canceled 10 years from now for what we said. If somebody has a problem, if I go to a show and I say something that somebody has a problem with and I get beat up in the fucking parking lot, hey, you got beat up in the park. You know what I mean? It's almost like you have the freedom of speech, and then you also have the freedom to get fucked up for what you say.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So if I say some outlandish shit, I shouldn't lose my job 10 years from now.
Mm-mm.
However, if I do say some outlandish shit, I should face consequences.
Exactly.
If somebody's like, fuck you, rape's not funny, and I make a rape joke and they beat me the fuck up, you know what I mean? Then, hey, that's...
Yeah.
I mean, that is what it is, right?
The creative risk.
Right. All right. Now, when I say cancel culture too, it's like the Harvey Weinstein or whatever. There was whatever. Like,
He was
okay,
the first,
now that's
he was
fucked
the first
up.
big Me Too guy.
Right. That's not, when I say cancel culture, that's not what I'm talking about. That dude's fucked up and he deserves to be where he is. You know what I mean?
What I think is lost is a little bit of the nuance of like the degree to which people have violated certain things.
Right.
And like how you can be found guilty in the court of public opinion way earlier than a court of law. Like your reputation can be garbage and then it could come out like a month later. Oh yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. It's like, well, we already canceled you.
Yeah. So too bad. Yeah.
So it's an interesting
people
time
are
to
losing
be in the
careers
spotlight.
over saying some just some bullshit. Like, and I mean, like I said, I won't speak on religion, right? Like, so let's say I did speak on religion today. 10 years from now, I'll feel different. Like 10 years from now, I could be a born again Christian, and then somebody that, or maybe I'm a preacher 10 years from now. More than likely, I'll be dead. Yeah, more than likely, I'll be dead. But if I'm not, maybe I'm a preacher. Whatever. So I'm a preacher 10 years from now, and then somebody finds this podcast online, and I'll lose everything I've got because I was like, I'm an atheist, blah blah blah. Or I don't have a, if I'm like, fuck Christianity, blah blah blah, and then 10 years from now I'm a preacher. You see what I'm saying? Like it shouldn't. That's why I don't know.
No, human beings. Like
we need forgiveness.
We change.
We need open dialogue and we need forgiveness.
Yeah, and redemption.
Which I think are two things that are redemption. Yeah.
Those are
two things that we're lacking right now.
Those are core principles of Christianity, ironically.
So I'm just waiting for the cancel culture to eat itself.
I hope it does.
It will. It'll happen eventually. It's like a snake eating its own tail.
It's weird because the institutions that do the canceling are losing power in a way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, they're canceling. Who's going to be the last man standing? You know what I mean? Like basically, if we're both cancel culture people, right? Like we're canceling all these people. If you slip up, I'm canceling you. If I slip up, you're canceling me. And everybody has a dark spot in their past.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who the fuck you are.
It's like a Mexican standoff.
Right.
You got
Exactly. Who's going to be the last man standing? What's going to happen is, though, when you've got the last man standing, they're still not going to be perfect. It's just going to, it's like a tide. It's going to come in. It's going to go out,
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that all of it's wrong. And I'm not saying that, some of it is justified, but I mean, it's getting ridiculous, like it's.
Yeah. I don't like when to me, the thing that frustrates me is when it makes people afraid to speak at all.
That's what I mean.
Because they're afraid of any consequence.
Right. Exactly.
So, I think people need to continue to be speaking their mind bravely.
And what's the saying?
And intent to me is really what matters. Like in any joke, if your intent is to be a douche, and you're really racist, if you're truly racist, that's not funny, Right.
And another thing is if you
are
are racist, it's I want to know. Like, so what I'm saying is that if the cancel culture is so strong that a racist won't really say anything, but I want to know. I want you to say things. Right. I want you to walk around with a sign that says, I'm a racist. So I know where you stand.
Yeah, it's ironic because if people aren't speaking their mind as much, the real, true,
and it's going to bubble underneath.
Are going to be hidden,
and it's going to bubble underneath, and it's going to explode,
and then boil over later.
And there's going to be a mass shooting. Yeah. I can't talk about it, but I can sure shoot a crowd. You know what I mean? Like, so. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that's cancel culture. How do we even get to this?
I don't know, man.
I don't either.
This is a free flowing podcast.
Word, I like it.
But yeah, man, the cancel culture thing, I think comedy is really cool. One other thing I was gonna say about it is, it makes me concerned when the public is maybe afraid to laugh at certain topics because the being careful thing permeates every part of their life. So they're less free to laugh, maybe.
Right.
Like I've seen audience members, and some of my material is edgy, but where they're
I like yours.
Where they're like,
they'll
cover their mouth, they'll laugh, but then they'll be like, "Oh, I shouldn't have laughed at that."
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know.
And I'm like, "Come on."
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. And like, it's kind of like I can't even. I'm not even going to put that out on the internet. Like I was going to say certain words that you could say or not say. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like. I mean, I don't know. I think it all depends on your intent.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, see, you're getting all tight-lipped. You're like, oh, man, I'm really...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not... I know better. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just know better.
Right. So if you could, like, for anybody who hasn't seen you perform, like, if you could kind of sum up what is your style of comedy? Like, what kind of brand of comedy does Jeff Thompson bring to the stage?
Oh, God. My brand. I stay myself, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I talk about shit that I think is funny, which a lot of people don't, which I find out sometimes, you know.
I feel the same.
I mean, like I said, I talk about stuff that I think is funny, that's personal to me, or like maybe it's personal to me because I've had a conversation with somebody about something, or, you know, like opinionated, if you will.
Right.
As for a style, I don't know what my I still don't think I've been in long enough to have a style.
That's a mature answer.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like I'm still finding it. Like
Yeah.
I'm still clawing in the dark.
Yeah.
Like and I'm sure I'll find it. Like I know what it is. I have to chisel it. It's almost like I've got this brick or this slab of stone, and I'm like chiseling. And right now it just looks like a mass of chisel, you know. And I've just gotta get it down to something.
Yeah.
And we'll see what it looks like when I get there, you know?
For sure.
But I also don't like to follow a certain thing. I like to be unpredictable. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like I have to be political. I have to be whatever, because my politics
have to be edgy
change.
or shocking just for the sake of itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I am edgy and shocking, and sometimes I talk about shit that's close to me. I mean, sometimes I talk about shit that's sad. You know, like it's just really.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll even rehearse in my head like what I'm gonna say, and then I'll get up on stage and be like, I'll completely forget it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, or sometimes I'll just go left and be
Yeah.
like, oh, we'll talk about this instead.
Yeah. Yeah. To
So-
me, dude, obviously I'm way newer to it than you are. Even,
Not really. I mean, you're really not. I mean,
well, you know, a year, but
yeah.
I was just going to say, I think I agree with kind of your instinct on going where your own gut kind of tells you to go. And because and keeping it unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because to me, one of the core things of comedy that seems to work is surprise.
Yeah.
So you don't want them to be bored. So if they don't know where you're going to go next, like the actual joke structure should have surprise and punches and things like that.
Right.
But your actual set can kind of meander in a way where they're like, oh, I'm still listening because I don't know where he's going with this.
But I also don't want even the people, even y'all have no idea what the fuck I'm going to talk about when I get up there.
I like to change it up for the open mics because
right.
well.
Yeah,
you know.
me too. And I like to keep my jokes sharp. I think that because I'll tell jokes that I haven't told in like a month or two, you know what I mean? Just to see if it still works, if I've still got the thing down. Oh, by the way, I got to mention the burger. Are you part of the burger
Yes.
online? Okay. I'm not going to say, I ain't saying shit.
Wait, let me just explain real quick. So Jeff posted a picture on Facebook, and it was Never Again Cookout with a picture of his burger with the bun open, and it looked like a messy burger, but apparently there was something egregiously wrong with the burger. And then there was a comment thread of like dozens of people saying, Jeff, what's wrong with the burger? I don't know. And Jeff signed off Facebook, didn't answer the question. So then somebody started a change.org petition to get Jeff to tell us what's wrong with this burger. Really interesting story. Not really, but
it's not interesting at all. In
but
fact,
yes, what is the answer?
In fact, I took a picture. I'm not going to tell the answer until people sign the petition. When we get to 100 signatures, I'll tell. But it's going to be stupid.
ego trip
It's
on
going to be
you, dude.
stupid. No, listen. This is what happened. Okay, I'm in the car. I get my burger. I'm not happy with it. I took a picture of it. I said, Never Again Cookout, and I posted that shit. I didn't get back on Facebook for like 4 or 5 days.
I knew that happened because
And
everybody was.
I got online, and there's like 100 notifications, and I'm like, holy shit! I usually have 20 to 30 notifications. I'm at like 150.
Yeah, that's like your best.
I'm like, what
that's
the
like your
fuck?
best post you've ever had. I was
So I
so
jump
funny,
on
dude.
and
love that
I start
joke.
reading all these comments, and people are just like, "It's been an hour." And this is like 3 days later. They're like, "What the fuck is wrong with the burger? We need answers." And then there's a petition, and I think it's funnier. Like, I just went on there, I put a comment like, "I love all of you guys," and then I just signed it off again. And there's another 100 comments. Like, when I got back on, there's just like a bunch more, and I was just like, "Oh, this is too good. This is too good.
gosh.
It's the stupidest fucking story ever, like of all time."
Yeah. Well,
But I am going to open a restaurant. I mean,
You are.
I mean, I've got to. If they think that is what is quality, then I'm.
you're opening
I'm
a restaurant out of principle.
out of sheer spite. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open a shop. There's an abandoned part right next to that cookout, and I'm going to put them to fucking shame.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't happy with my burger. Sign the petition. You'll
If you work
find
for
out why.
Cookout, don't F with this guy's burger. He's got a record. Actually, no, he doesn't have a record anymore.
I will
but
make you.
He's done hard time
I will make you.
for psychedelic.
I will make you infamous. I will make you infamous.
Oh my
Cookout.
gosh.
Fuck that.
So we actually, I'm watching the clock because we have the mic upstairs in like 15 minutes and people might be coming.
Cool.
But I have 2 questions I ask. What is your biggest regret in life? This is the downer question, but kind of heavy. But
Well, okay. My biggest regret. Now, to quote Woody Harrelson as Mickey Knox in Natural Born Killers, regret is a wasted emotion, right? I almost truly believe that regret is just a wasted emotion. Like,
yeah,
it was one of the. I mean, it really makes sense to me. However, 2 things I wish I would have never done in my life. Started smoking cigarettes, which I just quit, by the way.
don't smoke, kids.
I haven't smoked in 5 or 6 days. I almost lost it in traffic. I almost stopped and bought a pack of cigarettes. But I didn't. And drugs. I started taking addictive drugs, and I got really bad off. Like
pills?
Yeah, I got so bad off on uppers and downers that I lost 10 years of my life. Like, I don't remember. Like, there's a 10-year chunk that is just gone from my life. It's just like bits and pieces. It's like one drunk night, you know what I mean? Like, for 10 years. So if I truly had to go back and change that's one thing I would definitely
Dude, pills
change.
Are no joke, man.
It was coming off of that almost killed me. It almost killed me. Like, yeah. I mean, it was bad. It was real. I was really bad off. It changed my personality. It changed who I was. It's taken my mentality, like my memory, my you hear me stumbling for shit now. Like I'm smart enough to know the difference of how bright I was before I started and how dull I am now that I've quit. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can tell the synapses just aren't firing like they used to. You know what I mean? Like, I can just tell the difference, and it's just really sad. It's really.
You feel like you're missing that much of a significant portion?
Yeah, probably a quarter of what I used to have. Yeah,
Wow.
It's just gone. It's just gone. Like my.
Well, are you able to supplement that with wisdom, life experience, and being on the other side of it? Like, is there any silver lining there with?
Oh yeah. It's like 12 years a slave, man. It's like, like I'm free from it. Like, I've seen what it's like to be, to just be hooked on it, like to need it. I used to have to walk around with pill bottles in my pocket, and every hour to hour and a half, I was taking a pill of some sort. And if I didn't have them, I would completely freak the fuck out.
Wow.
And that was a 10-year, probably longer than 10 years. It's just 10 years is where it got so bad that I just have no recollection or,
Dude,
whatever.
it's horrifying, man. I have friends in healthcare, you see or hear things about people who, by all accounts on the outside, it seems like they have their whole life together. You would never know, but they're battling this addiction.
Yep.
And And if you can't have those pills, it's like, I mean, you'll pay anything.
Yeah, you'll do anything.
Comes into play. Your family.
Oh,
gets
it's
destroyed.
Insane. But see, now, like, the silver lining is now that I'm not addicted to them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just that's the silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen what it does, and I've seen, you know what I mean? Like, so now I'm free, kind of like cigarettes. I just quit smoking, but now I don't have to like check my pockets. Wait, is my nicotine apparatus on me? Like, do I have my pack of cigarettes, my lighter? Do I have my whatever? Like, now it's just recreational.
Sure.
It's like if I want to do something, it's like, oh, you got some weed? Let's smoke some weed. You know, like, it's not an addiction. Like, I don't have to have those pill bottles on me. I don't have to have that pack of cigarettes, that vaporizer, that, you know, I mean, so it's
well, good
really,
for you, man, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
Proud of you for kicking that. That's
what was the other one? There were two questions.
the last question is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh, wow. Okay. Right before let's go back before that. I had a buddy once tell me that basically keep your hands clean even if you're doing things dirty. See what I'm saying?
Elaborate on this. I don't know
Like,
if I understand.
So if you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, give the impression that you're not. Get other people to do it for you, type of thing. I know that sounds cold-hearted, but I mean, it just is what it is. That was some really good advice, and it kept me out of a lot of trouble. The same buddy once told me, blow up the spot and leave. You know, so if you're doing something, do it and then get the fuck out of there, right? Okay, so the other life advice, my dad told me, okay, near the end of my dad's life, he was never much of a hugger or somebody that says I love you or anything like that. Not to get too deep, but you know, it's true. But near like a couple of days before he died, I was living with somebody and I was on the phone and he said, he just gave me this life advice. He was just like, you handle the things that you can and forget the rest. And I was just like, oh, wow. As soon as I hung up the phone, I looked at my roommate and I was just like, he's dying. He knows he's dying. Like it was the oddest thing. Like, it was just out of the blue. Yeah. But it was really good advice. I mean, it's
handle the things that you can.
It basically handle what you can and don't worry about what you can't handle.
Yeah.
It was so simple, yet it was just so profound at the same time.
I like that. Dante gave a similar answer, and he said he was talking to a therapist, and he was frustrated about other people in his life that, you know, were behaving a certain way, and he's like, man, I just feel like no matter what I do, like it is what it is, and I can't really do anything about it, and that's just how things are. That's how it is. Yeah. And the therapist was like, say that again. That's your thing. That's true. Like, handle what you can control.
Right.
Don't hate yourself for something you can't.
Yeah, but I kind of wish you would have told me that when I was 6. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's like, where the fuck were you? You know what I mean? Like, oh God.
You ever seen Talladega Nights?
Oh, Ricky it's
Bobby
been a while. It's been a while, but.
Like, you ain't first, you're last.
I followed that. I followed that advice my whole life, and he's like, "Oh, I was high as shit."
Ricky, I was high when I said that. You can't be first, you're last.
You moron.
Second, third, you can't even be fifth. So what are you talking about? Like, that just reminded me of that. Like, where was that when I was 6?
Yeah, where the fuck was that life advice? I mean, it's great advice now that I'm almost 40. Dad, thanks. You know, like, I mean.
Okay, you're gonna think I'm kidding, but I think that's an amazing bit.
What's that?
Tell that story and then say, where were you when I was 6?
Yeah. That's true, though, man. It's like, what the fuck? Oh, God.
No, dude, that's still special that you got that advice from him, and it's
true.
With you.
That's very true. No, I mean, like, we never had the best, you know, I know we got to go, but we never had, like, the best, like, father-son relationship, like, ever. Mm-hmm. But near the end, like, maybe the last 2 years, we were, like talking and starting to get to know him and things like that. Like it was, he is an entire story on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're talking about a guy whose dad was murdered when he was 7 years old. Man of the house at 7 years old. Like in poor as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he was raising kids at 7. He was raising all his siblings at 7 years old. So by the time he had me and my sister, he had already lived an adult life, like all the way up until, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's just the beginning, you know what I mean? So he, he had some problems, man.
Yeah.
But it was also, I don't know. I don't know how to explain. Like I said, that's a whole nother, it's a whole nother book you could write on that shit.
Well, we'll have to talk about that another time.
Yeah, it'll come out in some jokes, I'm sure.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait. Well, dude, thanks for coming on, man. Before we go, where can people find you? Where can your fans find you?
Oh, Jesus. I don't.
Social media.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't fuck with social media that much. You can find me at Cookout. Or now you can find me at on Facebook at Jeff Thompson.
Yep.
I don't have comedian in the name. I don't believe in it. I think that if you're a comedian, you're just a comedian. You don't have to write comedian in your profile. And as I say that, you can find me at jt.comedy
on Instagram.
On Instagram, yes, on Instagram. So good luck with that, because I check that once every 4 years.
All right.
Once every presidential election.
Yeah.
I get on my Instagram. But yeah, you can catch me at those two things, and
performing around Greenville.
Yeah, you can catch me outside here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
man?
hopefully there's not people at the door calling, but
are they calling? Oh yeah. All right, well, let's cut it off.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, John.
Yep. Good night, guys.